Being in love was so simple. If you didn't like me, you just check no. But if you really like me, check yes. The kind of love that came with no stress. Staying up late on the telephone, talking about things that made us feel grown. Boy, I like the way you look at me. I think you really see who I really am. It's like you understand that we're gonna be much more than friends. La 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 la. I get this nervous feeling inside every time you stop by. I start to blush and acting real shy. I get a rush from you being so fly. You know just the right things to say. Intrigue my mind in many different ways. I can't hardly wait till we kiss. Boy, when you look at me, I can't resist. Boy, I like the way you look at me. I think you really see who I really am. It's like you understand that we're gonna be much more than friends. You got me on this merry-go-round, spinning my head and feet off the ground. I love the way this love thing swings back and forth, must be the real thing. Why have you been away for so long? The way I feel, can nothing go wrong? Can't understand why I'm singing a song when I should be with you where I belong. La 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 la. La 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 la. See what you do, got me losing my head. Take the handsome smile of yours for me today. Boy, I like the way you look at me. I think you really see who I really am. It's like you understand that we're gonna be much more than friends. La 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 la. Boy, I like the way you look at me. I think you really see who I really am. It's like you understand that we're gonna be much more than friends. La 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 la. I like the way you look at me. I think you really see who I really am. It's like you understand that we're gonna be much more than friends. La 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 la.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. We want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a very important, I don't do any interview that's not important. This is an extremely important interview. I want to encourage you, if you're watching, to please share. We don't want to always be a part of the criticisms that we give to our country, but we also want to be a part of the good things that's happening to our country. The interview today is going to be one that I always love to have an opportunity to interview this beautiful African Liberian lady and all the great things that she's doing. So I want you to share. I'm going to play another song because I want people to come on before we start the conversation to hear it. So please share. It's been a long time since we've been on here, since I've been here talking. But of course, you see me. Yes, my name is Glendy Jane Juniors, and I'm going to be interviewing today the founder, the CEO, the executive director, the manager, the wife, the mother, the businesswoman, Brenda Brewer. I always look forward to wanting to talk to her. This is someone, believe it or not, even before I connected with her, someone I love from a distance, admired from a distance, and I'm so extremely proud of what she's doing in our country and outside of our country. So I'm going to play another song. I want to encourage you to join us. So please encourage people to come and watch so you get to know about some of the good things that she's doing. Listen, we're mothers, we're women, we're Liberians, we're men, we're brothers, we're sisters, we have children. Some of the things that Brenda is doing is taking us back to how children grew up, what they enjoyed, what are some of the things that they need to be able to just know the basics of learning. Taking it back to reading, to the SSO days that we had many years ago, to the 1, 2, 3, to the multiplication, to being able to just read a book is what her work has been centered around, helping Liberian children, helping to teach them how to read. So welcome, please share it. I'm going to play another song dedicated to all of our mothers. This is April, it's not Mother's Day, but I love this song. I love this song, and of course I'm a mother and I'm going to be interviewing mother. Don't forget, she's a wife and she's a mother, and she's in so many different roles, and she not get on a rock and roll and rock plenty times in a truck, on the mother roads, you name it, she's been there. She's first-hand information on what's going on in our country as it relates to how we can also partner with her. This show, our goal and aim is not for you to just watch, but for you to be so moved and intrigued by the work that Keep Liberia is doing, so that you can also partner with her to do it. And hey, if you have a platform and you want to be able to talk to Brenda, she's available. We want to promote the work she's doing. That's why we're here today. So stay tuned, share the podcast so that others can join and come and watch.
Mama, sweet mama, 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 sweet mama, mama, yeah, mama, sweet mama, mama, I will love you until the end of time. I will love you until the end of time. You are my heart. You are my backbone. I am what I am because I will love you until the end of time. I will love you until the end of time. You are my pride and joy, my precious joy, my reason for living, my ups and downs. I will love you until the end of time. I will love you until the end of time. Mama, sweet mama, 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 sweet mama, mama, yeah, mama, sweet mama, mama, I will love you until the end of time. I will love
Well, welcome back, and I will bring my guests on now so that we can start this conversation. Hello, Brenda. Welcome.
Hello, Lady G. Thank you for the opportunity of you today. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. So, for those of you who are not who don't know who Brenda is, we're gonna welcome her, and then also tell her to say a little bit about who she is so we can start this conversation here today. I'm going to also, while she's talking, see if I can pin the information. This is a fundraiser event that we're going to start talking, but we want you to listen also. And if you feel led to give and to join this initiative, please make sure you join us. So, Brenda, tell our audience or those who's watching who you are and what you do.
Oh, thank you. So, one of the things I still struggle with, Glenda, is believe it or not, is saying who I am, because I do so many things that sometimes I'm wondering which of the personalities or passions I should present. Well, my name is Brenda Brewer, and I'm a trained human resource professional. I worked actively in human resource management for about 20 years, 22 years. And now I am doing more work in development in Liberia. How did I get to this space? In 2014, Liberia was hit with the deadly Ebola virus. And at the time, all of the schools in the country were closed as a way to stop the spread of the Ebola virus. And my kids were pretty young at the time. And so I started homeschooling them. We were working on this intermittent work schedule where we go in, a couple of days a week or stagger work hours. And so I had a little bit of time on my hands to tutor them while they were home. But then the days that I did have to go out, I noticed that the kids in my immediate community were just sitting around idle, playing, doing nothing. And it kind of got to me. I felt a little bit guilty. I felt like, you had one of your kids, you were trying to help at this critical time. So I spoke to my husband and asked him if he thought it was a good idea for us to start some kind of educational program in our community, targeting just the kids right, in our immediate block. He said, yes, I think it's a good idea. And, I will join you when you're going to do it. We prepared lessons that were based. We took our worksheets from online and matched the Liberian curriculum per grade level. And the intention was to provide lessons every week that parents or whoever was at the house with the kids would make time, at least an hour every day, to go over the lessons with them. But then we realized a couple of things very quickly. Number one, there were plenty of children, way more kids than we thought in the community. We have estimated probably about 40, 50. We prepared 150 packages, and all were finished within the first distribution.
Wow.
And we realized it was going to be expensive because we're doing this initially out of pocket. Then I started to reach out to people asking for school supplies so that we could put these lessons together in, paper, crayons, pencils, and what have you. And a lot of people saw what we're doing as very important and joined us. And we started going around from community to community, then establishing structures with community structures are already existing. So that we'll work with the community chairman and women's leader in the community, give out the lessons to them, identify one person who would then be able to go around that particular community, follow up with parents to make sure the kids did the homework. And the following week, we'll bring a new set of lessons and then bring little gifts for the kids to motivate them to make time to do the work. Initially, we're only targeting, like I said, our community, but then ultimately we ended up going to over 60 communities around Liberia. We ended up going to as far as Grangeda County, and we ended up reaching over 9,000 students during that time. It was an eye-opening experience for me personally because at the time, like I mentioned, I was working full-time in human resource management. I had worked previously with organizations like the U.S. Embassy for about 6 years. I had worked with the Liberia Telecommunications Authority for 8 years of the time I left. And so my work really restricted me to working in Monrovia. So the experience of going outside of Monrovia and outside of spaces that I typically wouldn't go into really opened my eyes to several things. And I was kind of shocked because I realized then that um, we had a problem with our education system. Most of the kids would do the artistic assignments, but then when it came to the reading assignments, all of them struggled. They would just not do it. And so, Glennie, what we started doing was just to make sure the kids would complete the reading lessons, started to drop the grade levels. So we gave sixth graders, fifth grade reading lessons, sixth graders, fourth grade reading lessons. And in many cases, we had to bring the lessons down to third grade before sixth graders could read, because the comprehension was just out of, it was sad. I always tell people that for me, Ebola popped my bubble because I was living in a sort of bubble in Monrovia. You go to the Royal Hotel, you go to the posh places, you come home, you do drinks with your friends. And what you're seeing is not the full reality of Liberia. And that experience during the Ebola outbreak, just opened my eyes to so much more. Going to Bapaloo County, seeing, the kind of learning conditions kids were learning under, seeing the kind of challenges teachers were having, and it just made me to feel so bad. And so when Ebola officially ended in 2015, a group of us who were still very active with the project at the time said to ourselves, we can't let this go. We've seen the problems. We cannot just continue to complain on the problems. Let's see what as professional people we can do. So we registered the organization, because I kept telling people, this is not an NGO. They're not an NGO here. This is just an intervention during this crisis period. But after we saw, the need, we cannot just go back to not seeing what we saw and what we experienced. So we registered the organization. It was Caleb Duma, myself. And then the initial board for us, the management team, included Jacob Wapo, Wade Powell, a couple of other persons, my sister, Dr. Subu, etc. So we registered KEEP and then said, what was one problem we saw that cut across? So the problem was just so many. And we said, what was one issue we want to tackle, as an organization that we would support in as professionals? And I said reading, because this reading it was like both private school students and public school students was really, really struggling to read. So we said, okay, we'll promote a culture of reading. That was the first step. But if you're telling people to read and they don't have access to books, then, we can't do much. So we said, okay, then we'll create reading spaces that kids can, utilize, access books, and improve their reading skills. So that's just a background on how KEEP started. About me personally, I'm a mother of two. My son just turned 18, so I have an adult child now. I feel ready. My daughter is 15. I'm married, been married 20 years. I'm also passionate about other initiatives as well. I run a cultural gift store, the Monrovia's favorite cultural gift store, Gifts.
Yes.
We sell gift items that are curated from different African countries. Yes, we have things from Liberia, but I've been intentional about getting little knickknacks, arts and crafts from other African countries. Because I love traveling, and every time I travel, I will bring some kind of art. And people will come to my house or to my office and will be like, "Oh, I like this." I say, "You know what happened? I can make money out of this." And so it was also a childhood dream actualized to have a space where I just collected things that I like and that other people also like. Besides that, I also operate a snail farm, and I sell pepper snails in several businesses in Liberia, including most of the supermarkets around town. I love flowers, and that's about me. That's me in a nutshell.
That's really not a nutshell. but let me appreciate you for all you do. Of course, I'm a lover of snail, so I cannot wait. I tried once and we didn't get it done right, so we will definitely revisit that. But we want to appreciate you, Brenda, for all that you do, and especially when you're talking about starting this whole keep program.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that pop up for me is your selfless nature. It's like you're starting it doing Ebola. And so you're
Mm.
also putting yourself and your family at risk. And then I hear you saying that you tell your husband
Absolutely.
you want to do this and he say yes.
Yeah.
What did your children think at the time? And what were you thinking to start a program that will put you in the community meeting and interacting with people that could later raise you and your families? I mean, that's selfless
Mm.
for me. What
Mm.
what what were they saying? What
No,
are some of the things that you heard?
I
Like,
mean the kids were
I'm sure there
young.
were some people that say you told you you're not serious, you get.
Nothing. Yeah, we actually got some comments like those. But one of the things that I always say, my husband agreed because it was a very risky time. You had dead bodies all in the streets. You had people shunning family because of exposure to Ebola. And when I reached out to my husband with the idea, he immediately said, "I think it's a good one. We'll go together. We'll protect ourselves." But I feel like it also stemmed from my experience as a child during the Civil War, because when the Civil War struck, I was for a while restricted to our home. My mother and father didn't allow me to move around as much for my own safety. And so for a while, I was stuck in the house, in the yard, with, only books. And so books really was my escape. So when Ebola happened, it was like, it felt like deja vu, like just seeing my own kids stuck in the house, stuck in the yard. And I said, no, I was small at the time. I couldn't do anything during the civil crisis, but I'm in a position now to do something. I just didn't feel, my spirit was not the same. My spirit was not settled. Just seeing, not doing anything. And so that's when we started. My husband, like, he supported immediately. There were scary moments. There were times we would go to a community and that community had an outbreak. There were families that were quarantined. So then we would provide books, stories, lessons to those families that were under quarantine. I felt like it felt really happy because I knew if you're stuck in the house, you cannot even come into your own yard. You're under quarantine. There's this stigma, and just having something as an escape as a child, like you can pick up a book and just read and just forget about this current reality that you find yourself in this scary situation. I knew how helpful that was for me as a child. So that was also a motivating factor. There were a few persons that said I was being crazy, like we're being irresponsible as parents, putting ourselves out there. But we're convicted with what we're doing. We're being careful. We weren't touching people. We had on masks. We had on our gloves. So we try to be, careful, so that we didn't bring anything back home. We got home, said we before we get into our own home, we have to like take out everything, spray up, and do all the safety measures before coming in at times to the kids.
Yes. Thank you. So, folks, for those of you joining us, we want to say welcome. Thank you for spending your time this Saturday morning and afternoon with us. But we want this to also be an interactive time. You're learning about all of the work and the things and the different initiatives that our guest, Brenda Brewer is working on in Liberia. So let me just read some of the comments, Brenda, as we continue. Hawa is saying,
Okay.
it's great seeing the school last year with my children while visiting. I think she's talking about school in Cape Town. Very impressive. I was so excited seeing Lake Piso. I forgot to take a picture of the school. I was inspired that I donated last year and our platform will donate again. That's from Hawa Metzger.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Ezekiel is saying, Glenny, thanks for the show, and I'm following from Salinquele. Please tell the madam I want to interview her. Okay, Ezekiel, your number is there. Brenda will get back to you. I've also pinned the information for the GoFundMe on the podcast. Zise Goya is saying community-based tutoring is a very good partnership for supporting schools because we don't do academic screeners that will communicate student academic gaps. The educators, community-based tutoring organizers organizations can fill a lot of gaps to help educators. Sano Kana is saying, my role model and woman I look up to, Brenda, Brewer, more. So we want to thank you all for watching. Please share it because there's a lot more we have to talk about. Want to talk everything that about what you can do and how you can partner with what Brenda. Listen, we've seen the work, we've seen the transparency, we've also seen the products of it. I want to ask you one question before we move on, Brenda. The first group of children or the first student that was a part of your program, is there, do you have you follow up with them? Are they, do you remember the first time you give paperwork to a group of family? What was the reaction, and is there any connection with those people?
Yes, so it's been 10 years. So imagine a child was
10 years.
9, they're 19 now. We've lost track with most of them because most of them have relocated, they've migrated. But there are a few kids that we're still in contact with. In fact, one of the kids graduated from high school like 2 years ago, and he did some internship. One of the students that we actually connected to during the distribution period, not the first distribution period, but one of those distributions that we did, also graduated from college recently, and she's also interning at Keep Liberia.
Wow, that's amazing. So Keep Liberia has been in existence for 10 years.
11. Thank you very much.
11.
11.
Yes, 10 years last year, 11 this year. But how have you been able to sustain the program? How have you been able to do this and continue to want to do this? We're going to go into Keep Nine exactly how you've been able to sustain this. Tell us just tell us everything, like how many different reading rooms do you have now in the country? What is your goal moving forward? Let's talk everything Keep right now.
All right, good. So, like I mentioned, when we decided to register the organization, my background is human resource management and organization development. So, from the very beginning, I wanted to do this right, and so from the very beginning, we started the whole thing with a strategic plan. And that meant us being intentional about what we wanted to work in. I did not want to be one of those organizations where any project they can do it. You bring climate change, they're there. You bring water and sanitation, they're there. You bring health, they're there. Like, no, we'll focus our intervention, it's very specific. So we've evolved over time, but our 3 intervention areas remains the same, which is promoting literacy, economic enhancement, advocacy, and influencing. Under the promoting literacy pillar, that's where most people know about the work that we do. We've constructed, renovated, and established a total of 42 libraries, mini libraries, in the last 8 years. So in 8 years, we've done 42 libraries, and we have been able to do those 42 libraries across 12 counties. Besides that, we've done published, because again, we're looking for books for kids. And one of the things I realized was that there were not a lot of Liberian books, like books written by Liberian authors available. There were a few, but not many. And so one of the things that we've done also as an organization has been to publish books. We've been able to publish 7 children's books. 4 of those books are listed on the national reading list recommended by the Ministry of Education. We also, our second, so under the promoting literacy pillar, we also have computer literacy, because we realized that a lot of students were graduating from high school, from college, without having a single idea of where the on button is on the computer. So as a way of also making them ready to face the real world, we thought that computer literacy would be a core part of what we do. So in the last 8 years as well, we've been able to train over 300 students, both in public schools and private schools, on basic computer literacy. We think the pop-up reading sessions would just show up to our community and just put up our tents, put out books, put blankets on the ground, just to get kids interested in reading. we'll invite local celebrities, local, people who are widely known in Morovia to come and do like read aloud sessions with the kids. Again, just to create that attention towards reading, because we know to promote a culture of reading amongst students. That was very successful. We've done that like since 2015. We've done that very consistently. We started recently because we're revising our reading manual that we have. We've also, because linked to, and I said that the problems were just so many, and you can't solve one problem. Some of the problems are so connected that you can't address one without somehow impacting the other. So a part of what we started doing was where we established a reading room. We will then try to establish a savings club. So we'll give the parents of some of the students, will form a group of, they call it Village Savings Loans Association, VSLA, and it's a savings loan club that the families, the PTA will form, and in order to access the funds that we will give to that club, your child has to be in school, your child has to be active in our reading programs. Just as another way for parents who may not have access to formal ways of acquiring loans with the banks, but also just need some money, maybe just to turn well a little bit of market or scale up the farm, that kind of thing. And so in the last couple of years, we've been able to establish about 11 of such groups, which amounts to about 330 people across the country that have these different savings clubs. Last year, one of our clubs generated up to $2 million. Yeah, $2 million. I was teasing there. I said, "You happy? Them I said, come and join the club because you're making money. You're making money more than me now." Yeah, but it's also allowed them to, beef up their little businesses, scale up their farms, hire additional people to help on their farms, or just, have access to money to pay school fee and say, I'll pay the money back in 10 months. Just a little flexibility has helped. And then we've done a lot of work with advocacy over the years, raising issues that are, I won't say just personal, that I'm personally passionate about, but also things I see as negative social norms. Raising a lot of awareness around child abuse, raising a lot of awareness around violence against women and children, trying to use the honey method of influencing policies in government as opposed to like let's find the policies that we need to edit, augment, and work on those. And we've done a lot of programs over the years where we work with different groups on different initiatives. Right now, as I speak, we just launched another action project that we're calling the Emerging Leaders Mentorship Program. It's for 10 months, and we launched it today. We started last week with the kids, and we're targeting, because we realized that our generation finished, like a lot of the issues around ethics, the issue around character, issue around integrity, it's difficult not to teach the mentality of the adults. So we're intentional now about developing programs that kind of shape the minds of young people so that as they finish in high school, they finish in college, they have a sense of real moral values. So, if they're going to public service, they should understand that it's more than self, it's the collective. Time management, public speaking. So we started our program last week. It's going to run for 10 months. We're targeting children between age 10 and 19. And our first cohort has 33 adults from different walks of life. For this year, we're targeting only Montserrat County. So yes, we've done a lot over the years. We've also been able to, because we publicize our work and we're accountable about our work, we've been able to get a lot of public support and recognition. We've received so many recognitions over the years that if I start mentioning individuals, it will be difficult. But two stands out most for me. Number one, the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Education, awarded us the National Literacy Award in 2020 for our work promoting literacy in the country. Yeah, it was really big because the government doesn't give out awards easily. So to get that kind of recognition of all the nonprofits operating in the country, to get that kind of recognition meant a lot. And then a year and a half ago, USAID Liberia also named Keep Liberia as CSO of the year, basically saying the best NGO operating in Liberia for 2023. So that was really another really good experience. Like USAID has worked in Liberia for 40, 50 years, and then of all the organizations that are doing work in the country in education, for us to get that kind of recognition. It just said to me, like,
Yes.
like
Yes.
it was a good moment for us.
Yeah. So
Now you
I think
mentioned transparency, Glenda, and you mentioned
yes.
public support. One of the things that I've always said is that people tend to say Liberians don't give. And that's not true. Liberians give when they have trust.
Yes.
When you can demonstrate trust, when you can demonstrate accountability and transparency with how you work, Liberians give a lot of money. We've been able to really, I told someone recently that we've been able to, most of our core programs are funded by Liberians that are donating to us either on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, or just an annual basis. Some people will hear about opportunities. They will share the opportunities with us. I know this group, they're looking for credible organizations to work with. Are you interested? Or there are some people who says, gee, on a monthly basis, we just get our rating. Every month we get $50, every month we get $100, because they've seen that we do the work. We ask for the money. We show them when we're doing the work. We show them when the work is completed. We publish how much we raise. We publish how much we spend on it. And that's not something a lot of Liberian organizations do. And we've been able to do that consistently for a while now. I always tell people, like, if I raise the money, I will tell you, I raised 100,000. It ain't mean that 100,000 went to Brenda to go face or hey, that 100,000 we raised. And this is 100,000. This is what we did with the 100,000, and publish that on our website. So those are the kind of things that has helped us over the years to get a lot of public support from Liberians and non-Liberians over the years. And that has really, really helped us in terms of standing out as a credible nonprofit organization in Liberia.
Thank you so much. That's a huge recognition to have your organization recognized as the literacy organization. That's amazing. With the work that you've done to help educate our children. Sister is saying that my sister Glenda is vouching for this organization. 100% I am. Then I am interested. How can Brook Diaspora Liberian educators help? So I'll tell you this publicly, Brenda. Sister Goya may be someone you may want to connect with. He is the mathematician. He's in charge of mathematics in the Minnesota public school. He is no small person, no broke person. He can certainly collaborate with your organization because he can also make some connections to be able to help keep. So I really I'm going to send you his number. I'm saying it publicly. So that you can connect with him and see what he can do.
Goya,
yes,
okay.
He said Goya, yes.
I just wrote his name on the page.
Yes. So connect with him. I'm sure he can be able to help. He's a math guru in Minnesota. Everybody knows him, director of mathematics for the Minnesota public school. So all the school that I said the boss man there.
So good to know. Good to know.
Yes. So connect with him. Yes, he's good. He's very reliable and just as equally transparent and connected as you are. So let's continue. Okay. I wanted to say 11 years of being able to sustain a program, no scandal, no noise. Yes, there may be some criticism here and there, but you've been able to hold your head up, and now you have 42 centers. Can you tell us, for those of us watching, the 42 centers that you have now, can you go into a breakdown into which counties you have them in, so that if people are watching and they have a reading room in your county, you can please make a donation to help so that we can have a keep reading room, 1 or 2 in every single county in Liberia. I want Brenda to break it down for us. So if it's not in your county, connect with Brenda on what you can do to bring keep to your county. So I'm going to show a picture of the building, and you'll see that you can't miss keep building. They have the same color everywhere. So let Brenda tell us a little bit about the breakdown of those 42 centers.
So we have 42 centers. And we have 2 then that homework here also got 1 in Basel, on Basel Highway after the St. John Brewer Bridge. We have 2 in Margibi. We have 2 in Bon County, 1 in Palala, 1 in Banga Central City. We have 3 in Lofa in Sosa City. Last year, we opened our first Arabic reading room. And I was really excited about that. I went to America Clinic, and normally go to America, you bring in clothes in your suitcase, like you bring in things, I went to America and I brought 2 suitcases full of Arabic books to put in libraries. I was like, yeah, you're obsessed. You're obsessed. So we have 3 libraries in Lofa. We have 3 reading rooms in Papulu County, 3 or 2? 2 reading rooms in Papulu County. We have 2 in Margibi, not Margibi, Bomi. We have 2 libraries in Nima. So this one that's on the screen is actually in Ganta City. That's at the JWPS in public school. Yes, it's a reading room and a training, a resource lab as well. It was funded by C Square. We have 2 in Grand Jide. We have 2 in Maryland County. Which county? Cape Mount, we have 1 in Medina, and then we have 1 in Tulsa, right? So the person who went to Cape Mount at Lake Piso, yes, we constructed a reading room there from scratch, like from the ground up. We did a reading room there in 2023. Yeah, completely like built it from scratch. So we have 2 in Grand Cape Mount County. Which county have I left out?
So you have Bassa, Margibi, Bong, Lofa, Bapolu, Bomi, Nima, Grand Jide, Maryland, Cape Mount.
Yes. Yes.
Who else? You got any in Monserrato?
The rest are not in Monserrato. The rest of the reading rooms are in Monserrato, which also includes a Braille reading room, a reading room we did at the School of the Blind as well. So I was getting ready, the smaller ones that I could remember, and just to tell you, the rest of the other normal in Monserrato. So in fact, a partner reached out to me, like they want to do another reading room in Monserrato. I'm like, I beg you, there are so many other people in need outside of Monserrato. Let's not focus our attention only on Monserrato. So we don't have reading rooms right now, as I speak, in only 3 counties: Grand Cru, River G, and Sino. Hopefully by the end of next month, if everybody can put hands with us, we should have 4 reading rooms 2 in River G, 2 in Grand Cru County, and then only Sino County will now be lit. So I keep saying all the big muff crew people need to step up. All the Sapa people with a big muff need to step up and see how we can make this happen.
So let me go over, let me just do a recap for those of you who are watching, just joining us this morning, afternoon in Liberia, morning here in the States. We're talking to Brenda Brewer. She is the founder, the CEO of Keep Liberia.
Rivercess. We have a center in Rivercess, right before you enter Center City. As soon as you enter Center City, left. The big building that's there, we construct.
Wow. So we're naming where she has the organization started doing the Ebola, where she wanted, her family decided to start helping kids to read as they were home. And I'll read the question. And where they were home, and she wanted to make sure that those kids were not just home, but that they were going to be reading. And so she started, and in 11 years this year, she's been able to build from scratch or renovate some areas to have reading rooms, mini libraries for children, 42 of them. I'm going to go through the list. There are 1 in Bassa. There's 2 in Margibi. There's 2 in Bong. There's 3 in Lofa. There's 2 in Bapolu. There is 1 in Rivercess, 2 in Nimba, 2 in Grand Jide, 2 in Maryland, 2 in Cape Mount. The rest is in Monserrato. But significantly, this woman has a Braille reading room. Imagine catering. If you're watching and you want to make a small donation just to the Braille room, the fact that there's an opportunity for our children who are handicapped, who are blind, to be able to have an opportunity to go. I mean, my skin is, my hair rising. It's amazing to be able to have To even think about the initiative to want to reach out to the children that are blind, it's just out of this world. And not only that, there's an Arabic room. So it's like I'm not just satisfied with just people that speak English or Liberian colloquial. I'm also extending it to other kids that speak Arabic to be able to get a reading room. That's amazing. If you're here, we're here. We're gonna do this often. We're gonna come up. I'm gonna do what I can do to, as always, to support and partner and help keep promote whatever financial assistance I can give. I will give. Zese is saying Bon County Association President, Kama Joe Colley. I think he's calling people on here to see how they can connect or whatever, but you're already answering him. But we want to be able to support this. This is amazing. I've never heard.
So one of the things. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is so for you to even want to do a reading room for the children that are blind. That's amazing, Brenda. That is just
so. Let me tell you how that came about. Let me tell you how that came about. So I started mentoring a young lady called Victoria in 2015, and Victoria was born blind. Victoria parents, she was living, her parents were both blind, mom blind, papa blind, and I could not fathom how this family was existing, like operating, everybody blind, mom blind, papa blind, daughter blind, and then they had 3 other kids. And so I started supporting her with tuition at the time in 2015. So we supported Victoria all through high school. Victoria completed high school, and then we asked her, what do you want to do? Victoria said she wanted to go to college. What do you want to do? She said she wanted to become a teacher. So we enrolled her in the La Cosas Teachers Training College. And then as a way of also making her to learn skills, we brought her in to KEEP as an intern. And so she was working with KEEP, and then we're giving her a stipend every month to help cover transportation and all of that. And of course, Victoria takes minutes in our office. She does, office tax, does emails. I mean, she's super now. She's now. And there was this time where we were planning at the beginning of the year, we planned our projects for the year. We planned our targets. And so this meeting, we're sitting in staff meeting this day, and then she said, Auntie Brenda, you're talking about all these other spaces that you're going to do reading room. What happened to people from the blind community? Like, are you thinking about us? I'm here as a representative of people from this community, so I can't be here. You be planning reading room. You think about, because to be honest, I did not think about it. And so when she said it to me, I'm like, thank you for being an advocate. So that's how I was like, okay, I reached out to find out what's existing. And we contacted the School of the Blind in Brewer. They had a space, which was not a library. I have the pictures. They have books on the floor. They had a space that they had identified to use as a library, but it was not a library. They had a couple of Brewer books on the floor and all of that. So then I said, okay, this would be one of the projects we would do that year. And that was 2022. And so but then I had no idea, like, where do I get Brewer books from? Like, so of course, Brewer books not in Liberia. So then it became this whole thing with connecting with libraries in the USA, connecting with foundations in the US that supports people with visual impairment, writing them, trying to explain to them what we need, trying to coordinate getting the books from the US, getting them here, clearing them from the port. It was a whole 1 year drawn out process. But then at the end of it, we're able to bring in a lot of books that are useful for Braille. But we also made sure the books we brought in were a combination of just plain Braille books, but also picture books, because some of them have partial visibility. So they can see a little bit, but they cannot see so well. With those pictures, then they also have a Braille and regular on it. So actually, even other kids who might be in the vicinity and want to read as well could also take advantage of it. So that was really, really cool. Also, with the reading rooms, Glenda, our goal at the time was, we said to ourselves that we will establish at least 2 reading rooms per county before coming back to adding the rooms up. So we haven't covered the entire country yet. So my dream has always been to cover the entire country, at least 2 reading rooms per county, which is still very low, at least 2 per county, and then circle back. So as a part of our 5-year strategic plan, we start this 2025, our third strategic plan. We now have revised it to say 1 reading room per political district. So that's the next big goal as we're moving along, so that at least every district in Liberia can have a reading room.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for watching, everybody. We still have a lot more to cover. I want to give Brenda all the time today. I have absolutely nothing to do today. My entire day is dedicated to keep. So I want to make sure that we exhaust all of the topics so that you, as you're listening and as you're watching, I am vouching for this organization. I followed them for a long time, supported them. This is a credible organization. You go to Liberia, you will see their reading rooms, the different counties. The only county right now that does not have a reading room from Keep is Grand Cru, Sino, and River G. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Those are the only counties left. And if you're depending on how you feel led today and how you want to give, you will definitely be able to support. If you also want to get in contact with Brenda, she just shared her number. Please text her, inbox her, see how you can be a part of this. Look, we're helping to educate our children. We're helping to make Liberia a better place for tomorrow as far as it relates to being able to help our children read. One of the things I look forward to is going back to Liberia to be able to volunteer in some of these centers to be able to read. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to share a video now. Brenda, also for those of you, she also shared about how they have talk a little bit, because somebody inboxed me about you talk about the women and the cash, something that you do to be able to.
The VSLA.
Yes.
So how the VSLAs operate. So just one point I wanted to make on the reading rooms. A couple of counties will only have 1 room. So Grand Bassa County is one of those. Riverside County is one of those. So we need to complete those 2 counties to have at least a reading room there. But on the VSLAs, how it works is you set up a group of 30, maximum 30 persons, and you train them on financial literacy, you train them on savings. And then not every organization does this. We do it. We give them a startup grant. And they use that startup grant to loan money out to each other. They cannot charge more than 10% on any loan because it would be prohibitive and, make people can pay and run away. And then they use the proceeds from what they generate as a group, either to startup projects, like they can do a group business together and then divide money at the end of the year, or they put the money back into the group of members to then do additional credits. And then at the end of the year, they're able to disperse the money, and they will tell you how much they made. Now, with the way we set up ours, they have to put in like $10, like $10 every meeting, so that they can build up a fund that is social fund. And that social fund, they're supposed to use that social fund to help with minor repairs that are connected to the reading room. That was the concept of it. So if a chair foot breaks and there's a reading room at that school, they're supposed to use a part of that social fund to do minor renovations for it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work because that money business, but then the money start getting plenty, then to come with some of the people on projects to use some of the social funds. But that's how it goes. It goes for about 11 to 12 months, and then they evaluate they check how much they've raised, and then at the end of the 1 year, they divide the money and then start up a new club from the next cycle.
So I'm just letting you know now that you're probably going to expand your plan soon. because they say we have partnered with Christian Association of the Blind in Liberia, but we know that
Right.
it is limited in scope and reach. I am interested in how you can spread your Braille room in larger cities. So don't lose that contact, Brenda. I'm telling you.
I'm taking note of it. I'm taking note
Yes.
of it.
So I have a video that I want to share now. We want to talk about what we've talked about in addition to keep. Now, this is the backdrop. Brenda, the Keep is creating reading rooms at different places in the country. Some of the schools that she's creating reading rooms, the focus is making sure to have a little library in a school so that the kids will be able to read. But one of the things I think we've may have been missed was ensuring that yes, we want to make sure we have a furnished reading room, but we also want to make sure that in the school where that reading room is, there are enough chairs for the students to be able to sit down in classes, to be able to learn. And then when they go to the reading room, there's also chairs, because it's not sufficient for us to be satisfied that we have a good reading room with enough chairs, computer and stuff. But then when they leave the reading room, they sit down in a chair and then they go to the classroom, they sit on the floor. And that is not a new initiative that Brenda is open to doing, but we have to support it. We have to support. So as we go into this conversation, there are pictures and there's a video I want to share first, and then we'll start talking about this addition to keep. Another initiative that we want to do all we can to assist and ensure. Please watch this video and see if you will not be led to help keep Liberia. So it's a very short video, but there are pictures also I'm going to share so you can see, because of course we have to have rights and not expose our children. This is a picture here of kids. This is a classroom. You can see the books.
Or library. That's a library.
Okay. Yes. So let me just show the pictures so Brenda can tell us about this. So let's go to this one. Tell us about this one.
So this is actually a school in Grand Crew County, right in Parkfield. It's a public school that's been existing since the 50s, and they need a library. And so we usually do a before and after picture. So this is what the current library looks like.
Wow.
It's the same school, yes. So we're going to transform this into something more beautiful. This is another school in Grand Crew County. It's in Parkfield as well. This is the current library, and usually, we'll go in there and transform this space into something completely different. This is what they've been around since the 90s. The school was constructed in the 90s. Yes, and this now is in Brewer. So when I was doing the assessment for a particular room, this school, where the current library is, and walking around the school campus, and I just saw most of in those schools in that particular area sitting on the floor, and it just broke my heart. Like, how can I cannot, even though I'm here for library, but there's no way I'm comfortable to come here and do a library that has enough seats, and then the children sitting on the floor. So that's in Grand River G County. Yep, same River G, same classroom. This is Grand Crew. Grand Crew County. Yes, River G. And the teachers because we got there on a holiday, it was decoration day, we're on a timeline that we're trying to meet. And so the students for the school, we didn't see them. But the principal at the school also told us that they also have seating issues. But because I didn't see it, I didn't want to assume and just take it at face value. So we don't know, but he said they also have seating issues. So a part of what we're trying to do, even though we're trying to do libraries in these two counties, we also thought it would be good to get additional benches for them. And each school says that at least 100 each will help them take the kids off the floor. And they don't want chairs. They prefer benches because the kids tend to damage the chairs or people move the chairs around. But with the benches, they're more stable and heavier, so it's difficult to move around.
So you just watched some pictures of schools in different areas, Grand Crew.
You know what, Glenda, let me send you the video. I was trying to send you the video that I did with that. That's something that shows something a little bit. Let me send it to you.
Okay. But what we want to do, this segment of the interview is about how can we ensure that wherever there is a reading room, that we have, that the kids in school have enough school. Imagine this is a library. This is a library in a school in Liberia, my people. This is a library. Imagine this. This is a library in a school in Liberia. We don't want to worry about what's happening, what's not happening. We have this group. We have Keep Liberia, who has been building libraries all over the country. And now what we want to do is to ensure that as the library is built, as the reading room is transformed, these libraries, they are transformed, we want to ensure that the kids have chairs to sit on. There's a picture here that we have the children. This is some kids on the benches. I'm looking for the one. These are children on the floor. They're sitting on the floor, trying to learn. No chair, no benches. We have to be able to see what we can do as citizens when you find yourself outside of Liberia. There's so many libraries. In the one area, in our in school, I knew the library I won't go to where I will make noise. I knew the library I want to go to where I will be very quiet. The one that will allow me to eat. So right where I live is like 4 libraries. I had an opportunity. I visited so many libraries here when I was in school. We want to be able to do the same through Keep Initiative to help these children. But let's talk a little bit about it. You're saying that each school they're saying the 2 schools. So right now, Keep is working on 2 reading rooms, correct? Is it 2 or 3?
4.
So we're working on 4. We want to be very intentional that the 4 reading rooms have enough benches for the children to sit in. And so we're saying have you been able to assess how many benches each of those schools will need?
100. And so those will be spread out across the classes.
So a total of 100 benches for the 4 schools.
No. 100 per school.
So 100 per school, 400 benches.
Yes.
We need 400 benches. We need, and at what cost for each bench?
It's $30 for each bench.
So $30 for benches. So let's do. And when do you intend? What are the plans as to when the reading rooms will be completed?
So our very ambitious goal was April 30th. Unfortunately, we haven't raised enough money to do that. So it's now pushed to May 30th. But the challenge, the pressure now is rainy season has started and the roads become really, really difficult and impassable during the rains. So we have a timeline of 6 weeks maximum to try to complete these 4 reading rooms and complete all of the benches for the schools. Now, to reduce our logistics, we are doing a lot of the purchasing from in-county. So even the carpentry work is going to be done in-county as opposed to doing it in Monrovia and transporting it all the way there. That's going to reduce costs significantly. And that also helps local business people in those 2 counties as well. But our goal is latest May 30th to have all of these benches completed, all of the reading rooms completed.
Wow. May 30th. I'm trying to see if I can upload the video to be able to share it. So what that means is we're also trying to see what we can do to ensure that we have 400 benches for May 30th. That's something that's not
Yes.
impossible. You know, one of the things
No, it's not impossible.
no, it's not. One of the things I learned in Dubai, they say in Dubai, the people always say it, Brenda. Anytime we learn, say, what? How you able to accomplish it? They say everything is possible in Dubai. The tour guide, he said, we don't say it's not possible. All of us say here, he said, anybody in Dubai, they will tell you everything is possible in Dubai. So we want to say everything is possible for
It's
kids.
possible.
Everything is
Yeah. Oh,
possible.
yeah.
So to be able to
Yeah.
raise, to be able to get, and it's only, Brenda is saying it's only $30 per bench.
Yeah. $30 per.
$30 per bench.
Yes.
We want to see
Yes.
what we can do. Brenda will look at her schedule. We will come here to do a major fundraiser for our benches for the students. We don't want to, what's the thing? We don't want to open a library and the kids don't have benches to go on. So we want to make sure that we have that for them. I don't know why my email is not working this morning to show this video here, but I would love to make sure that we have this video to show it. Okay, so hold on 1 second. Let me download this video so that we can show it, so that you all can see some of the challenges that they have while traveling. And they've done this. They've had these challenges for many years now, for almost 11 years. But Brenda continues to be passionate and committed to her cause. We want to make sure that we're working. She's working now. Their group is now working on 4 libraries. And we want to make sure that we have 400 benches. And this initiative, we're referring to it that as every child needs a seat. We don't want to go say, okay, I'll come to the library, I'll sit in the library, there's chair, and then when we move from there. So when we do 30, let's do 30 at 400. Let's look at the cost. The mathematician.
It's 12,000.
Okay, it's 12,000
for the 4 benches.
Yes. So we're going to work on it. So please, if you can afford to give us 3 benches per household, if you can donate, those of you watching, if you want to make a donation, I've pinned the GoFundMe. If you also, there's also after the show, I will pin the GoFundMe, the Zelle, the Cash App, whatever. If you want to send the money to me to send to Brenda, just let me know. I will also do that. We don't want you to have any difficulty in making a donation to this cause. So the Bomi County Association, the River says, we're looking for benches. Maybe River says can say, okay, we'll purchase 100 benches for 1 school. It's $30, and that's something that's doable. That's something that can be done. Let me show this video, Brenda, for everybody to watch. Thank you for watching, folks. Don't go. Watch this video and feel led to help empower people through Keep Organization Liberia.
They feel it all the time, you know, car got stuck. Not everything story, car got stuck. But this time around, at least, I was so happy when we saw one FA20 yellow machine. The man say they will help us to haul. So actually, I thought I would not charge up any money, but thankfully, we get small thing, but not too much. Anyway, they helped us. They came and hauled the jeep. Normally, it would take us quite a bit of time to use shovels to dig ourselves out of the mud. But in less than 10 minutes, these guys have pulled the jeep out of the mud, and I was really excited because then it meant we didn't have to stay so long and then get to stay long on the road. It's moments like these that I tell God thank you, because imagine getting stuck here at night with nobody around to help you. You'd be so angry. Just so angry and pissed. But anyway, we were able to get out of there very quickly. The guys were very helpful, and in no time we're back on our way to complete our work.
Those are some of the challenges that they go through, getting stuck in the mud, but they continue to go through that. Tell us a little bit, Ben, why I download this other video to share. Tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you've been faced with.
So you've heard me mentioning that we have rooms in almost every county in Liberia, and with the exception of the main roads, most of the counties are accessible only through laterite roads, which becomes really difficult to travel on during the rainy season. And then because we haven't been able to purchase a vehicle, a brand new vehicle, we use all these old used cars that it will look like working way more over. By the time you put on rough road, it didn't pay. So vehicle road, moving around certainly has proven to be difficult. There are also times because of the level of accountability that we want to try to. It means at times that find vendors in the rural areas that have registration, bank accounts, that kind of thing can be difficult because we also try to reduce just dumping cash in people's hands in order to register businesses. So sometimes that can be difficult. Capacity issue with some of the people in the counties, like it would take a big project and you say, I can do the work. And then, you're trying to be accountable to people who are donating towards this project. And then this person just takes your money and then it's taking forever to complete the work. So sometimes it take maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, it end up taking 4 months. And then, it drags on because then monitoring becomes costly because every time we have to send somebody to the county, we have to pay their way, we have to pay for lodging for them, feeding and all of that. Challenge has also been staffing over the years. We're getting better with that. Finding dedicated, hardworking, honest staff has been difficult. You'll find somebody who's dedicated, then they're not honest. You will find somebody who has the honesty, then the capacity is lacking. Commitment will be lacking. Work ethics, those are challenges. And then also because a lot of our brothers and sisters have really spoiled the pool for us, you have to go through even more difficulty in convincing people to support you because people have had bad experiences with nonprofits in Liberia. So sometimes you have to explain, and and show, and then it becomes really tiring. So imagine on a weekly basis, you have to have 5 or 6 of such meetings alongside your day work. And then when after you finish talking long 1 hour meeting, you not explain, you show a report, you not show this one time, when they say I will get back to you, and then so those are some of the challenges that we tend to have. There are also times that because what we do, we try to show people what we're doing to raise the money. Those times that we try to show people can take what we're doing out of context and politicize it. And so there are times that my work gets hindered because my work is then politicized. And so then I have to explain to some government official, no, I'm not saying you're not doing your work if you're not doing your work. And just say, no, it's misconstrued. No, not misconstrued, you're not doing your work. But just that managing personality and emotions can be difficult at times when you're dealing with government personnel. Fundraising is also difficult in terms of so like I used to host events every year in Minnesota I did it for 3 years. And then Corona struck. And since then I just I'm not, because I will spend a lot of money. I will buy a ticket, will book hall, will come, and then American people will be complaining about $30 ticket. I'm like, how can you complain about a $30 ticket when we gotta rent hall when they see money, $50 ticket, we gotta rent hall, we gotta pay for food. And how much after I take out all the cost of hosting this event, I'm only left for $2,000. Then I can't do the project. Then you'll be the same people to say, oh, you raised money and you have not done the work. But I can't sell $50 ticket when I'm trying. How many tickets would I sell to raise $35,000, for example? So I stopped hosting those events in Minnesota because it just felt like a real waste of resources. Got buy ticket, kind of my second, I would stay with somebody, then you got to move around, then you got to buy a be expensive McDonald's, all those kinds. But those are some of the challenges we have with fundraising, operational wise. I mentioned the roads, the vehicle, staffing issues, the hurdles with building trust with diaspora, Liberians on the different projects that we engage on.
Yes. Let me show the last video here as we come to conclude this. Wow. Why do you do this? Why do you do
That's
everything?
a good question. I was raised with a deep sense of giving back, supporting the community and above self. My mother was a reverend, and she instilled that in us for a while, all through my childhood. But more than that, Glenda, I always tell people that Liberia is my home. I honestly don't have any goals or intention, dream to live anywhere else. And so I feel like we should be able to do these things to make Liberia better. I also jokingly tell people that if we don't make sure that the kids, the next generation, is empowered with really good academics, good quality education, and different things that helps to make them a whole person, we'll continue to have this cycle of a very small group of people that are educated and have access to resources. And so my son will marry your daughter will marry my son, then whoever else, just like that. So it'll just be the same group of families controlling Liberia for the next 50 years. And so you have the same issues. And then the other part, I always joking about, if I don't make sure as many children get quality education as possible, my son will end up with some girl who would ask me if I work here. I was my daughter-in-law. And when the men are fall in love with again, they get right to save her life. What you gonna do that? That they will get a man in love with. She can't even write, she can't speak, she chopping left and right. So it's a duty upon us to make sure that we give our best, we give as much as we can to improving the next generation, because our generation has already messed the country up for them. And it's not just education, Glenda, it's also about the psyche, the psyche, like what things are we normalizing with our youth? The comments we make, the things that we normalize, the wrong social norms that we normalize, that then accumulates into a societal, pattern behavior. And then we're shocked when we see people in a certain way. So I do this because I want to see a better Liberia. I do this because I want to be able to say that I help create a better Liberia for my children to thrive in, and people that they are associated with to thrive in. I also do this to show our leaders that it can be done with little or nothing, as long as you're passionate and committed to it, as long as the will is there. I tell people that both Liberians and non-Liberians that even the government of Liberia has not done what I have done in the 8 years I've been building libraries. The difference between KEEP and an international organization is just sustainability. That's just it. They've been able to harness the fundraising mechanisms in a way that is sustainable, and we're still fighting to get to that stage. But in terms of impact, in terms of the passion, in terms of knowing the problem and knowing the solution to the problems, we have that. We know it already. It's just how can we fund this in a sustainable way so that it thrives even beyond us tomorrow, or it can even get replicated in other spaces.
Thank you so very much for taking up your time. Thank you for the work that you've done for Liberia, for our children tomorrow. We want to thank you. Thank you to everybody who has watched this show this morning. We will be coming back to you. We're trying to raise 400 benches at the cost of $30 each. I am volunteering myself to spearhead a fundraiser for the benches.
Thank you.
Have
No
to
hand
be
for Clinton.
we have to be able to see what we can do. We don't want to have a new reading room and then the kids in that same school is sitting on the floor. So right now, as Skip works on 4 reading rooms, if you would like to partner with me to help raise the benches, we want Brenda to focus on the book, the reading rooms. We want to come in and see how we can raise the funding for the book, the benches. So if you would like to make a donation, if you would like to send $30 for one bench, you already know. I'm coming to my flyer with the names of my friend and for that $30 per bench. We want to be able to get the 400 benches. So all of you who have watched, we hope you've been encouraged by the work this lady and her team are doing in Liberia. Not even saying, oh, I'm connected to this party, oh, I'm waiting for the president to do this, but doing this initiative at a time where I want to describe it was very selfless of her family to want to do that. So we want to support you in this initiative. We'll be coming again. Maybe within 2 weeks, we'll come back on again if Brenda has the time to talk and say where we are with the benches. We don't want to stop. We want to raise 400 benches. If you watch today, you want to support this initiative, please let us know. So Brenda, you can now give us some closing comments and then we'll go from there.
So my closing comments will be to those in the diaspora. I know most of you have done different initiatives individually or through different organizations you're passionate about. I just want to encourage you not to give up. Sometimes you do these initiatives and you don't see the kind of results that you want. I can assure you that if you join us, you will find this a very fulfilling experience because not only will it be done, you will see it being done and you will get to see the results, the process as we're going along. When you knocking the chair, we'll send you picture. When you're busting the wall, we'll send you picture so that you see as we're raising the money, as it's coming in, how it's being done. But also that you're impacting children's lives and the educational experience in parts of Liberia that you probably never been or you never intend to go, but just knowing that this little $30 that I'm giving can change the learning experience for a child in River G County. So join us. Let's take the kids off the floor and into chairs. Thank you. Thank you, Lady G, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brenda. We'll be in touch. We'll be back in contact with you. We will work with you. If you set the deadline for May 30th to raise those benches, we will do all we can. This is an initiative that I want to work on because it was just heart-wrenching to see those children sit on the floor. But thank you. Thank you to your family. Thank you to your children. Happy birthday to your son, to your husband who's been supportive, always in the background. We don't see him. We don't hear, but we know that you have a very supportive husband. Because nobody is going to let their wife to just keep bouncing up and down those muddy
all the place.
I even see my back. I know eating. I mean, the conditions you put yourself through has been amazing, and we hope that it's gratifying to a lot of Liberians when they see this, but not only to say, oh, she's doing well. Let's join. Let's put our hands to this plow. Let's support this initiative. Thank you, Brenda, so much for coming.
Thank you, Lady G. Thank you so much. Thanks to all those who stayed and watched. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. See you next time. So, folks, there you have it. I will be calling on Zisse. We're going to be working together. Zisse Goa. I will call him right after here. We're going to start this fundraiser to raise the 400 benches. Sis Nora, I saw you posting. I will reach out to you also. So between you, myself, and Cece, we want to be able to get the 400 benches to help keep We want when those 4 books, those 4 reading rooms, libraries are dedicated. We want to make sure that the schools have enough benches for the kids to sit in. Look, if you're out there, if you have an initiative you're working on, if you need some publicity, if you just want people to know what you're doing, I am here. I will make the time. We don't always want to be on the side of complaining and whining and saying the negatives about our country. We want to also be able to share some of the good things that Liberians are doing all over the globe, all over the world. So thank you so very much for being here. Listen, together, the change that Liberia needs, we can start it. The change is in us. We can make our country be a different from what it is or what it has been. Thank you for watching. Thank you so very much to Keep Liberia and all of those who have supported the initiative of Keep. We can clearly see that this has been a wonderful, wonderful initiative. Thank you. Lofa County and Bomi County presidents are watching. Sisi, I'm calling you right after here today. We're going to start a chat room to see how we can get the 400 chairs. And going forward, we want to make sure that wherever there is a reading room that Keep is going to build or renovate, we want to get those kids off the floor. So our initiative is called a seat for every child. Every child needs a seat. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough to even hear. I mean, I am so overwhelmed to hear that they have a reading room for our blind children in Liberia. That is amazing. And to just see that this is not an initiative of the government. This is a citizen of Liberia doing this only because she was connected to one blind child. And that child said, do something for us. She did not ignore it. She heard it. She did something about it. They have a Braille reading room. They also have an Arabic reading room because not everybody speaks Liberian Kolagwa and Liberian dialects. We are interwoven, intertwined. We have other cultures. If you have books at your home that you want to donate, let me know. Send the books. Don't worry, just send me the books and I will find a way to send them to Liberia for the reading rooms. But we need to be able to be more visible in our country to help and be a part of the greatness that we want in Liberia. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. I'm looking for the music to play song for you. Thank you, everybody. It's been amazing.
1 2 1 2. Yeah, yeah. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, yeah. She said we need this for life. She wants to be mine. And I feel no lies. Please don't you surprise me. In my right mind, don't want to see no brake light. Don't want to see no stop sign. Feel good in my right mind. In my right mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my right mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pull up, tell me what you wanna do. Don't you hesitate, I need a truth. Is you really down for whatever? I'ma need you first to show the proof. I stay out the way,